Today I want to discuss the whole Indian of the minhag that we have. You don't make Kiddush between 6 and 7. And the last 2 years, people asked me I should discuss it. I said one day we'll discuss it. Now we'll finish the Schiris Kablunas. We have to go on. I thought that we're going to discuss this noise. It's a little bit a different shiur than regular, because there's not a lot of halachas, but it's the whole the concept, the whole nikida, how this, why is it we don't make Kiddush. So the minhag is, which Alter Rebbe brings down in Shulchan Aruch, yesh nehagin, as you see on the paper of the Mekoros, on the one side which has the Daf HaMekoros, the Alter Rebbe Simarai Shayin Aleph and Sif Bais, the Alter Rebbe brings down, yesh nizorim, there are people who are nizir, shloi lekadosh b'shur rishonim shel halaylo, that you don't make Kiddush the first hours of the night, which is between 6 and 7.
You mean b'diuk 6?
We'll get to that. Thank you. So let's see from where this whole minhag comes. In the Gemara in Masechta Shabbos, the Gemara says, Rabbi Yosi b'Rabbi Yida Omer. Rabbi Yosi b'Rabbi Yida says, Shnei malachi ashuras malafen lo le'odem b'erev Shabbos bebeis hakneses labaisoi. There are two malachim which are begleiting you from Beis Knesset to your house. One is a bad malach and one is a good malach. Echet toiv, echet ra. And when they come into your house, and when you come into your house, if the table is prepared, look over Shabbos, there's Shabbos licht, it's decorated, look over Shabbos, the tables, the chairs, everything is nice and neat and clean and beautiful, look over Shabbos. The malach toiv gives you a bracha, yirotzan, that next week Shabbos you should have the same. Also, it should be a nice, comfortable, beautiful Shabbos. And the malach ra answers, Amen, bal korchach. You know, the malach ra doesn't like to for such a brachas. And the malach ra answers, Amen. If they come home and they see that basically the house is a mess, and there's no Shabbos table, and there's no Shabbos licht, there's no nothing, so then the malach ra comes and says, next week the same balagan. And the malach toiv has to answer also, Omei bal korcha. This is the Gemara says in Masechtas Shabbos. The Avudraham brings down for the Maram Rottenberg, and he says that who is the two malachim? Who is the two malachim which comes? Malach toiv, malach ra. What does that mean? So the Maram Rottenberg, which is the father of the Ashkenazic Rishonim, the Rebbe of the Rosh, the Rebbe of a lot of Rishonim, he says like this: we know there are 7 mazolas, which in English, which in Lashon HaKodesh it is Shabtuai, Tzedek, Madem, Chama, Noiga, Koichav, in Lavona. That's the 7 mazolas, which in English, Shabtuai is called Saturn, Tzedek is called Jupiter, Madem is called Mars, it's red, Chama is the sun, Lavona is the moon, Noiga is Venus, and Koichav is called Mercury. That's the famous, most people know the names. That's the 7 mazolas which we have in which there is. Zukt of them the Maram Rottenberg. The fee side of the mazolas is Mazel Tzedek is the mazolas is according to the hours of the day. We're going to explain it just in a minute, but I'm just going to give you what Maram Rottenberg says. Maram Rottenberg says like this: the fee side of the mazolas, Mazel Tzedek meshamash b'shu achroina shel erev Shabbos. Mazel Tzedek is every hour there's a new mazel, which is shoilet. Mazel Tzedek is the last hour of Friday. Who is the Malach? Who is on top, above of Tzedek? The Malach is called Tzadkiel. And he is the Malach Toif. Then the next hour, which is the first hour of Shabbos, is which Mazel is Shoyle, that's called Mazel Madam. And who is the Malach on top of Mazel Madam? Small. I don't know if we say it, but Chazal steht in this nomen, that's called Samach Mem. We didn't want to say even his name, so we say Samach Mem. So again, the last hour of Shabbos is Tzedek, and the Malach is Tzadkiel, and he's the Malach Toiv. The first hour of Shabbos is Mazel Madam, and the Malach is the Samach Mem. And these are the two Maluchim which come because the last the Malach which from the last hour, which so to speak, Baglai the Yid into Shabbos, and the Malach from the first hour of Shabbos, both come together and they Baglai you at home, and there are the two Maluchim which come and say, next week the same, depends how, if it's clean, if it's nice, it's prepared for Shabbos or not. And this is also, which we see, by the way, also, that the Maril brings down on Mikeh Rekayach with the same thing, that it is, he says, who's the two Maluchim? So he brings down the same Nikida, as the Zwei Maluchim we see in the Medrsh is Mazel, the two Mazulas, which is Mazel Tzedek and Mazel Madam, and one is the last hour of the Friday, and the second is the first hour of Shabbos, and these are the two Maluchim. It doesn't say anything about Kiddush. They just say who are the two Maluchim which it is. So in order to understand what it means, let's take the paper which you have and turn it over. So you see the let's first turn it back, I'm sorry, and look on the third. First I said the first two pieces, the first pieces. Then let's go to the third piece. In Mesechtes Brochos daf nintes amad beis, zog di moreton rabonon. Haroya chama bit kufosa. A person sees the chama and the kuf is chama. Levona begviruse v'kechuv memseloisam. Imazulas k'sidram. It comes to a place when everything is proper. The chama is exactly how it's proper, means the same how it was by creation. The levona, everything is on the side there. Then you make a bracha oise mas baraishis. So the gemara v'aymes havo. When is it? So the gemara Rabaya kol esrim ishmoyne shunim. Every 28 years. Now I'm sure everybody remembers. It's called berchas hachama. Once in 28 years we make berchas hachama. That's berchas hachama is on this gemara. The gemara says once in 28 years everything comes again how it was by the creation. And then you make a bracha. And the Gemara says, look further in the Gemara. Kol esri mishmoyne shenin v'huder machzer v'naflet kifes nissen. The kifes nissen, it's always a nissen. The kifes nissen b'shabtuai ba'orte de tlas nogarbu. So what does the Gemara say? When does it fall? When does it fall? Kifes nissen falls the end of Tuesday or Wednesday. That's always the kifus. Look at Rasha for the next piece. Mefarash Rasha Shabtoi. Shure shoyne shelail. No, should be away on the table somewhere. Shure shoyne shel leider vi. The first hour leider vi. Yeah. Sheba oise sho nitla moires. When the Tidra Bodi Shloim create Ma'oires, we look in Torah. Torah says, Yom Revi. Yom Revi is Nitla Ma'oires. The first day of Yom Revi, that means Tuesday night, when it became the first hour of Yom Revi at night, then the Boni Shloim hung up the Ma'oires. V'sheva shuas hen, v'choizros chalila shatzam chankal. This I'm reading Rasha. Timtza, you see, Behek of Sidra Shaloilam, Simone Shuas Tchilas Alaile, Katznash Chalam. Mata Shabbos Koichav, Tchilas Lail Shiny Tzedek, Tchilas Lail Shlishi Noiga, and etc. Now, to understand what Rashi wants, turn over the page, and we're going to see what Rashi says. Rashi says like this: the Rebbeinu Shloilem hung up the first night, the first hour of Yom Lail Revi'i, hung up the Moires. Over then it starts moving. So Motzei Shabbos, the first hour of Motzei Shabbos, that means Shabbos afternoon, not afternoon, you mean the end of Shabbos, the first hour of Motzei Shabbos, that means Yom Revi'i, the first hour of Yom Revi'i. Zukt Rashi, what is the first one? It's an abbreviation of Katz, Nash, Chalam. You see, Rashi says, what does it mean? Look as the first hour of, it's the right box is the night, 12 hours at night. The left box is 12 hours in the morning. And then you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days, 7 days. So look at 6 o'clock. The light starts at 6 o'clock at night. 6 o'clock at night. Which one was the first mazel? Chof. Chof. What's Chof? As we said, Chof is koichav. It's Mercury. The next hour, you see in the box, a cross. Next hour is Lamat, Lavona, Shian, Shabtoa. You see, it goes every hour it changes. Seven. Every hour there's 7 mazolas. Every hour there's a different mazel. So if you start the first hour of Motzei Shabbos, that means Sunday is Chof, like Rashi says, Katznach, Koichav. You go across. So the first night is the first hour of Sunday is Koichav, Mercury. The Yom Shiny go down now is Tzadik. Tzadik is Tzedek. The third night is Nia Noiga. The fourth night is Shabtuai. So when the Gemara says that, when did everything begin? So the Gemara says, remember before I want the third paragraph. What does the Gemara say? Tkifas Nissen starts Shaftuai. That means Shabtuai is, as we mentioned, Saturn. The first, but the last Noga Arba. That means Tuesday to Wednesday. So look at Yom Revi'i, the first hour of Lail Revi'i. It's Shian. You see, everybody says it's Shian. That's Shabtuai. So this is the first time when it started. It started at Shian. Wednesday, that means Tuesday night of Wednesday, started Shabtuai. Then it goes for, the first night of Thursday night, that means Wednesday into Thursday, is Ches, Chama. The first hour of Lail Shishi, is Lamat, Lavona. The first hour of Shabbos, what is the first night of Shabbos? Mem. What's Mem? Madim. So the first hour of Shabbos is Madim. What is an hour before? What is the last hour before? What is before Mem? Look at the left box. Friday, the last hour, is Tzedek. Look at the last Shishi, the last hour of the day, which is all the way in the left. The last hour is Tzedek. So what do we see? If everything started Shabtuai on the first hour of Wednesday, if you go every hour, it changes the 7 mazolas. It will come the last hour of Friday is going to be Tzedek. The first hour of Shabbos is going to be Madim. Now look in the morning. Look in the morning. That means on the left back. Shabbos in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. What is the first hour? Shian, Shabtoi. What is the next one? Tzedek. Third hour, Mem. It's going to be in the guy soon. So Mamaila Zayman do that the last hour of the day is Tzedek, which is the good hour. It's an hour of the Malach is Tzadkiyail. And the second hour is Madam, which is the Malach the Fin, is the Samach Mem. So these are the 2 Malucham which come. The last hour of Friday is Tzedek, Tzadkiyail, the Malach Tzedek. And the first hour is Samach Mem, which is Madam. This is the Cheshbon. You see, this is how the Cheshbon is, how the Mazolas are working. So we see the one thing, 6 o'clock Friday afternoon, which is the first hour of Shabbos. We'll get to if it's first hour of Shabbos. 6 o'clock, is Muslim Adam. Okay, so this is clear. What? Every Shabbos. Every Shabbos is every week the same thing. It doesn't change. It started from Wednesday, first hour Wednesday, and it goes every doesn't move. Same, everything the same. Every Friday. What's the problem with Madam? So we said the Malach is the Samach Mem. But you see Rashi Masech the Shabbos. So Rashi says that if a person was born in Muslim Adam, is he going to be a Shefech Dam? Rashi says does a Muslim Adam. Rashi Masech the Shabbos Kif Chuftes Amad Beis. So Rashi Muslim Adam Memina ala Chere vala Deva vala Perunias. And therefore, Muslim Adam is a problem because Muslim Adam is a very bad Muslim, and therefore we should know that then it's surely Muslim Adam. So basically, everything do is basically one thing. Is Tom Malachim, which come the malach from the last hour, second hour, and they see if everything is proper, everything is fine. From where does it start this our minig that about mazulas, about not making kiddush? Then what's the problem making kiddush? Now the first makar which we have is from the Rizal. The Rizal is a Sefer Tekina Shabbos, which is from the Rizal. There's two Tekina Shabbos. One is from the Rizal and one is a Talmud of Ramak. We am talking about the Tekina Shabbos of the Rizal. And the Tekina Shabbos says built on this Avidraham on the Maril, which says that there are two maluchim, what the Gemara says, come, one malach ra, malach toiv, are the two maluchim which are mamin and the two mazulas. According to them, came the Tekina Shabbos, and it says that since you are coming home Friday night at home, do you want to make Kiddush in a hour which is a bad hour, and the bagged malach is on top of you, or you want to make Kiddush on a nice hour, and a good hour, which the Malach Toiv are shoylit in that time. Zug the Kim the Tekina Shabbos and Zug va'acharat tefillah. Listen to his solution. Va'acharat tefillah is very important. The nuances over here. Va'acharat tefillah lo yik akveni harba b'sek knesses. After davening, do not stay in too long in shul. Don't sit and learn. Go home and make right away kiddush. Mipnai shemitzvah lahagdim lekadash yom. First of all, there's a mitzvah to make kiddush the earliest possible. Kachai alayayin, kachai right away when it comes in. V'chol azuras arayza meshubach. V'soidoi, what is the soid white taka? Mavir lamatu. Koidem sheyuvoi mamsheles small v'koichev madam. But chilas la Shabbos kiyidia. Since we know that Muslim Adam is the first hour of the Shabbos, you don't want to make Kiddush over them, and therefore you should be Magdam and make Kiddush before 6. Therefore you should be Magdam and make before 6. Why? Because we want that you should basically make Kiddush in a mazel, in an hour, which is a good hour. So not only you should make Kiddush between 6 and 7, you should make Kiddush between 5 and 6. Because we want that you should make Kiddush in the time when the mazel toiv is git. And then he brings down this whole rekayach with this maramrot megdeh, this two malochim, which are mazel mad, mazel tzedek, and therefore we want to be make kiddush on a very nice zman, and therefore since we want it to be tzedek on the zman tzedek, which is very nice zman, and therefore we should make kiddush right away when we come home from shul, and that's why you shouldn't stay in shul shmuzing or even learning. Right away come home and make kiddush. A little bit the same Nikida we see in the Marshu. The Marshu, which it doesn't bring down the Tekina Shabbos, but it's probably he saw it or he was nishma from the Tekina Shabbos. He is Masechtes Tanas, and he speaks about a different. The Gemara says dort. The Gemara says Rabbi Yitzchak says Shemesh b'Shabbos Tzedukah la'aniyim. Shemesh b'Shabbos, this is what the Gemara says. Shemesh b'Shabbos, tzedukah l'aniyim. If there's a sun in Shabbos, it's tzedukah for the aniyim. It's good for the aniyim. Why? We have a pasuk. Shneimar, have a pasuk. which says, "V'zorchu lachem yira shmi shemesh tzuki barpa." Because there's a pasuk, "V'zorchu lachem yira shmi shemesh tzuki barpa." So now it doesn't say a word on Shabbos. How do we see that Shabbos is Psamal Shemesh and Shabbos? Zug the Marshu like this. We have to say it's Shabbos. Why? Because it says Shemesh Seduku. What does it mean? So he goes into this whole cheshbon. Since we see that every hour there's a different Muslim, and since we see that basically Tzedek is the last hour of Friday, and Madim is the first hour of Shabbos, so Shemesh Seduku, the Shamash means the Malach, which is on Seduku, which is the good Malach. It's Seduka. This is a Seduka Lanim, and that's why we see it's on Shabbos. So the Mashuk comes also with this whole cheshm that we see that the last hour of Friday is a good time, the first hour of Shabbos is a bad time, and therefore Shemesh Seduka, the Shemesh which is basically Shemesh B'Shabbos, is Seduka Lanim, means it is Meshamash Shabbos, Shabtua is Shabbos. But my statement this is the Indian fin. It's a good hour. So again, we see basically in Tekina Shabbos and the Marshu, the first thing already which we see. Oh, and he says, he says that's why the Rebbeinu Shloim said the mitzvah of Tois Shabbos, as we're going to get Me'et Hashem to this the Kiddah, the whole sigi of Shabbos and Tois Shabbos. Why did the Rebbeinu Shloim say you should be a Mois B'Chalal LaKodesh? Very simple. Since Shabbos starts in a very bad hour, so the Rebbeinu Shloim wanted you should have Tois for Shabbos. You should be Mois Varan Shabbos in not Mazel Madim or into Mazel Tzedek. So therefore, Shabbos will start in a very nice hour, not a bad hour. So he says that's the reason why the Rebbeinu Shloim made there's a halacha that you have to have Tois for Shabbos, because we want, and therefore you should make Kiddush before hour 6, and you should make Mazel Tzedek. So basically, we see he doesn't say you should make Mazel Tzedek. He says that's why I have Tois Shabbos. We see there's one intrinsic difference between the Kina Shabbos and the Mashur. The Kina Shabbos says you shouldn't make Kiddush on Friday. He says you should make Kiddush. You should make Kiddush on Shabbos, 6 and 7. He says you should makbet. You should be makbet. You should make Kiddush beforehand, because we want you should make Kiddush on a nice zman. So he says you should be mamar when you come home from shul, and you should come. It should be in a good hour. The Mashur doesn't say this.
Chama is not a good zman?
What?
Chama is not a good zman?
It could be. It is good. So you're
saying to do it before 6 to get tzedek.
Tzedek, because tzedek is a good one. No, Chama is a different. Is an hour later. But tzedek we see. Chama is the after Madam. Yeah, but tzedek we see is a good hour, because the malach is tzedkil. The other mazuls we don't know if they have b'chlal malach. The steht in Mefarshim. If Yahu are the maluch. These two we know. So therefore, Zud the Kina Shabbos make it before, because it is a good zman. The Mashur doesn't say that you should make before. That's why in the sechste Shunish, but not was doing before. And that's why we see in the Poiskim, Dei Nekida, if a person does not want to make Kiddush before 6, and he's not going to make Kiddush on 6, which is 6 to 7, if he should wait till after 7, or he should make Kiddush before 6. What is better? So we see the Tur says, the Lushan, when you come home, you should right away make Kiddush. Why? Because it says, Zuchas Yom Shabbos Lakachoy, Zechraya Liyam B'Knisusoy. Zuktiv the B'Syosah, what does it mean? Right away when the Shabbos comes in, you should make Kiddush. So basically, this is a hot mit the ganze Sigya fin between 6 and 7. There's a locha that basically Shabbos comes in, Kechai b'Knisusoy, so the Gemara darshan Kechai b'Knisusoy, and when it goes out, that's Kiddush and Avdolah. So Zug the Tur, right away you should go, because we want that you should be Mekadosh right away Shabbos comes in. Shabbos comes in. Therefore, halachadik, you shouldn't go, you shouldn't stay in Medrash right away when it comes, you should make Kiddush alayayin. So, but other points can say that basically, if a person does not want to make Kiddush, he could wait. we see that the Oile Shabbos writes like this. The Oile Shabbos writes like this. Kozvi Achroinim, who is the Achroinim? He means the Kin Shabbos and the Marshu. That you should make Kiddush before Muslim Adam, because it goes in the whole Cheshbon, we call Muslim Adam is not a good Muslim, so you should go make sure to make Kiddush beforehand. And it says, and he brings the whole Gemara, and it says, and it says that you should make or beforehand or later. Or beforehand later. The Mungavrum doesn't say it. The Mungavrum says you should make it beforehand. So in other words, the Nekid Sadvurim is, if the Pshat is not Muslim Adam, or we also want, not only you shouldn't go with Muslim Adam, we also want it should be in a good Muslim. According to the Pois Mungavrum Pashtas, we're going to say, it's only you should make a Muslim Adam. So therefore you make it beforehand. According to the other Poiskim, that means the Oile Shabbos is not only we want. According to the Oile Shabbos, is not Muslim Adam, so you can do it beforehand or you can do it afterwards. But according to Mungavrum, he says do it beforehand. Is the pshat is he also wants b'pashtas also because you should be kachai alayayin b'knesuso right away. But the Mungavrum ends up. It quotes he doesn't quote. It just says look in the Chivas Shaloshes Marame Pana. So if you look at Mama Pana, over there brings down the Mama Pana. It says that if a person doesn't want to make Kiddush right away, he doesn't have to make Kiddush right away. Although we had some but since we already made Kiddush by Tefillah, because Iker Kiddush is on davening, Kiddush Alayayin is not a Drabunan. So Zug the Mama Pana, why do we have to make Kiddush right away? If a person doesn't want to eat now, he's full yet because he made a how does he call it, the bane, or whatever it should be, or whatever it should be. So therefore, the Maram Mepana, he doesn't have to make Kiddush. He has to time. So the Mungavrum sends it, quotes, he just Irai B'Shal Mepana. So what Pashas we could say basically that the Mungavrum again does not hold like the Oile Shabbos. The Oile Shabbos says or before or after, and he says no, you should do before, and it just quotes. Look at the Oile Mepana, which is v'cholik and the Oile Shabbos. Ich got a suffing in this a little bit. If this is the Mungavrum's pshat. See, the Mungavrum wants to say that basically the Mama Pana is cholik on the other poiskim, and it says that you could do it afterwards, but the other poiskim say only beforehand. Or he means to say that maybe not. In the Choykikta with the Alter Rebbe quotes the Mungavrum. The Alter Rebbe passes like the Mungavrum. And the Alter Rebbe, when he quotes the Shulchan Aruch, look in this. I brought down in the last piece in the page when you turn it in the Daf HaMakoros. So the Alter Rebbe writes Simar Reish Ein Aleph. Look at the last two pieces of the page. Mitzvahs es hayim min haTorah lekadosh as Shabbos b'dvurim. It's a mitzvahs esse min haTorah that you have to make kiddush b'dvurim. Shnei mazuchas yom Shabbos lekadosh zechrai zechiras shvach v'kiddush. That's, you have to make shvach v'kiddush b'peh, by dibber. V'tikti chechumen, shtai zechira zi al kos yayin. Chazal Rab, I don't want just you should say by davening, I want it should be al kos yayin, by miknesusa, by mitzusa, if there comes the chiyuv of kiddush and havdullah. Because the Chazal say, I don't want just, it should be b'dibber, I want it should be also al yayin. And the Alter Rebbe says, "Vater, in mitzvah min hamifcher, this you can take. You have one. In mitzvah min hamifcher, lekadosh shumen retchilas knisus u'makom ad efsher. Mitzvah min hamifcher that you should make it right away. Makom ad efsher. V'afim yutzim by seknesim min badyom. Even if you went out min badyom by seknesis, yesh lo lekadosh miyad. Given the shahoyis makom ad kodesh is this Shabbos. You shouldn't say that since it's still going out, it's still light, the sun is still outside. You made early Shabbos and the sun is still shining, so you don't want to make Kiddush now. So the Alter Rebbe, no, since you moisim chalal hakodesh, it's makabel in Shabbos. It's Shabbos now, so we made right away Kiddush.
Even before Kabbalah Shabbos?
No, it's not Kabbalah Shabbos. No.
Like Paris, Mount or something. If you're telling me it's so good to make it right Shabbos.
Du steigt nicht das. Sucht, also even though that you said it with the rise with the dibber, after piken, das ist der Rush von Alter Rebbe. After piken, the Rabbun Chazal said that you should make it al yayin, And even this should be right away, as early as possible, not before davening. Bechal, Pi Arizal is this ugefragt to make Kiddush before davening. The Alter Rebbe says weiter, Yeshele Kaddish miyat somach niknis susoi, should make Kiddush right when it comes in, v'achar Kiddush turich lechel gam kain, kedai shia Kiddush mukum sida. V'im eine tuav lechel miyat, then comes v'ayne tuav lechel miyat. The Alter Rebbe says it together. You should make Kiddush right away. Zukt the Alter Rebbe, v'ayne tuav miyat, yeah, yuchel hamtim le Kaddish toch alaylu, kama shirtze, kedai shechel tiyuven. I said, do a mitzvah zechrael ya miknesu. So the Alter Rebbe, you listen to Hamasha kvar zochre betfila betosar. So the Alter Rebbe says like this: make Kiddush right away because mitzvah na mifcher. But if you're not hungry and you want to wait 3 hours, you want to learn the Kita Torah, the parashas, chassidische parasha in the week, you want to finish it, or the other chassidim want to finish Arachayim HaKudosh before they go to see the Shabbos, takes 3 hours, no problem. Why? Because you did it already. You did it by the davening. So the Alter Rebbe moves it together. So from over here, I see lechoira as the Mungavrum is also. Even though the Mungavrum only brings that you should make Kiddush beforehand, and then you should make Daf Kiddush beforehand, and it doesn't. It only brings you should look in a Mame Pana, and it doesn't say what. So Pashas we could say it's a Machloikas. According to how the Alter Rebbe Ugelen do the Halucha, we see that the Alter Rebbe Ugelen Pashas over the Mungavrum. That was he used to follow the Mungavrum a lot. So Mamaila hat Ugelen as the Mame Pana is not a Machloikas of the Oile Shabbos. That if the Oile Shabbos says you could wait till after Madam, then you can wait if you don't want. So what do we have? That although Stua Inyan, according to some poskim, which say that the Inyan you should make Kiddush Dafka on Mazel Tzedek because it's Tzadkiel, after Pekan, a person wants to wait after, like Yidu says, Cham is auch git. Maybe Avada Tzedek is Avada Beser, but then the Kiddush is don't do it on Mazel Mazel. Don't do Mazel Mazel.
What does that mean? Like something bad that comes on that person?
What does it mean? Is bepashtes in the word. Bepashtes in the word. Sie do the Marshu wie retten Tanas dort retter as mir soll nicht essen. Ich schlag Chazal, mir soll nicht essen bis man, wenn der Mazul ist ein Ra. So eine Sache. So Meile se lav darf ka worten Kiddush. Se wort man soll nicht essen im Fadim. Meile obazoi, all do it before or do it after. According to the poskim which say that you should do it before because tzadkiel, you should make it in a good hour. According to the other poskim which say not Mazel Madam, is the pshat is dike avoid Mazel Madam because Mazel Madam is a bad zman. Don't do the bad zman. And eating, you should eat in a zman when it is a good zman. The what?
Before 6. Eat the whole between 6 and 7.
So that means you started on tzedek. No. Once you started this Allah Hakloich Kiddush. Once you started the Sida, that's the what? The Choyre is almost gewaschen before Sida. Weil low day in the Kiddush is this unheim the Sida. Zal sagen beike. Once you made Kiddush, that's already a schulas Sida.
Isn't Alter very specific about why you would wait? He says it's only about because Toiv Lecha. You said about waiting to Arachayim.
No, the Alter Rebbe says Toiv Lecha he can push it off.
Right, but that's all. It seems like if you, I don't know if it comes immediately behamshich to what he said. Kiddush b'makom so that they have to eat right away. If you're not going to eat right away because you're Toiv Lecha, then you could wait. But it seems like that's the only excuse to wait.
After.
Yeah,
but we see one thing. That basically that he also holds that if a person does not want to make Kiddush, not tzedek and not shmadam, he can wait afterwards.
Right, but only for a specific. What I'm saying is, it seems to Alter Rebbe that it's a fairly specific reason that you're allowed to wait. In general, it seems that Alter Rebbe is saying you do Kiddush right away.
Yeah. Why? Halachadik, not because madam. Halachadik.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. There's one case where you could wait. And it comes right after where he says, it almost seems like it's because your Kiddush is not going to be complete because you're not eating, therefore you could wait. But if you want to learn Arachayim, you have no header to wait. Halacha that I'm talking about. If you want to just sit in shul and Shmuel.
Yeah, there's the same thing as...
freedom?
No, then the word is, oib eine tu of lechel is a heter not to make Kiddush. If eine, that means, ich kann nicht kein reason to make it on tzedek.
No, but I
Zero.
understand, but it's only a heter not to make
Why?
Kiddush.
Why is it only heter?
Because Kiddush requires B'makom Soda, and your Soda won't be complete, because you're not going to be eating. So,
Why shouldn't you eat?
you're not eating a toilet.
So if I don't want to eat because I want to learn Chaim Kiddush, it's the same thing. The minute was ich will nicht jetzt, the word is, ich will nicht jetzt essen. Then the kids said, ich will nicht jetzt essen.
Maybe Beruch means you have a time. I can hear that.
Nein, es hat nicht mit Tov nicht. Der Alte, bei ihm eine Tov lechel, will nur eine Kida wegstellen. Was der Munge Wrum hat gewollt wegstellen. Sollst nicht meinen, that means, ich muss machen Kiddush before 6, because eins mit der Luche kann es haben in Kisus, weil du so noch schon heute gewesen. Und das ich meine, ich soll machen Zedig, ich trille Fahrdim, weil ich will the hour Tov. No.
So I'm saying,
Die will sogar, das Alte haben darf Tov lechel.
which means really no. You have to do.
Why?
But if you're gonna eat when you're not toiv lecha,
No.
your whole kiddush is gonna miss because you're not gonna
Why?
eat.
You're going to eat. I'm not Tov lechel, I'm going to eat.
Yeah, but if you're not toiv lecha, there's no
What?
mitzvah.
Shabbos has to be lit up. And it for sure can be a chile gas.
Chedsch gechile gasse. Chedsch,
No,
aber...
it has to be lit up. So the Shabbos has to be
Fine.
So if he's gonna eat now, it's not gonna be lit to oven.
Okay. Wat oibig wat gesucht, als du ein Kapai, dass es an darf gezedek, was ist schwer hält die alle Sachen.
Yeah, there's two kapedis.
Yeah, but he's saying, but
There's a
maybe,
betzias.
maybe there is a kaped that tzedek, unless Pashid
Nochmal, der Alte...
can be a grace.
Die suchen, sie du Ahider, aber sie machen Fahrt, dem, ja, der Alte Rebbe allein sucht, kicken sie an Luschen. Gib a kick, was sucht der Luschen, wie es leule Kaddish mir hat, so mach ich nicht zu, sucht das bei Eitzam. Wie es leule Kaddish, achar Kiddush zurücklegen, kam mir hat mit gleich, sucht bei Eitzam, ist du in dem ze machen, kann es reibig ist Susse. Was gesagt mal weggestellt, Gdali, bis Christus so in so mal weggestellt du sagen alle Jahren. Weil Meile ist wie früher ist alt ist besser. Aber ich sehe aber, als nicht a Sach, was ist kommt man daran. Deine Kinder was ich will. Ich kann nicht gewollt viel alter bringen, sie müssen kein früher nicht. Ich will gewollt bringen eine Reihe von alter haben. Als der Mungavruam hat ugelehnt, als der Mann mit Pana basically dingt sich nicht mit der Eule Shabbos. No, deine Kinder. Der Eule Shabbos so klar, ich kann machen oder früher oder später. Und also suchen noch andere. Ja, in der Mungavruam sucht nicht, sucht man sie machen früher. Und sucht ein, wie steht man Mann mit Pana, wo es wird doch gekannt suchen, also mein Tag zu suchen, nein. Also mein Tag, als man darf machen früher. In der Mann mit Pana ist nur, als dingt sich. Auf den Alter Rebbe habe ich gelernt, als halt dasselbe wie der andere Poske. Aber man kann machen oder früher oder später. Suchst du, man kann es...
How does this make sense? That we say in Mazel.
Oh, das gehe ich jetzt umkommen. Al-Kabur, mein Jois Röhrig kann sagen, als basically, as the kids said what it means, man macht, the Sibbe von uns ist, we don't make zwischen 6 and 7, is because 6 to 7 is Mazel Madam, before is a good Mazel, after is auch ganz fine, aber, so therefore, the Ketrilla, if you can, do it beforehand, and if you have to learn a Chaim, because you can't learn anderes, bist du nicht Stuflegel bei Meila. Es ist also wie, ich bin damit Star, weil, ja, aber so now the question on this minig is, like Menachem just asked. The question goes two questions. The first question asks the Mishmere Shulem, the Koidenover. He says, we know Shabbos in the Shluka Shlitis Amazula. There's no shit. We say it in Kegavna. Yeah? We zoeken we zeggen, V'chol shiltuna rigzin in moeder de dina, kille arkin. V'lai shiltuna achra b'chile omen. So what's going on? Why is there a problem of mazolas? Shabbos, there's no shilton. And he finishes, al kain, therefore, since Shabbos there's no shlita mazolas, ani noyek, is mamish the guy for this week, I don't know, Belail Nittel shechal b'Shabbos, when Nittel falls on Shabbos, Hagam b'chol, I'm not learning, but it falls on Shabbos, I'm learning. Shabbos is Shukah Shlita Amazunas, it's a Shukah Shlita for Sitra Achra, it's a Shukah Shlita for Samach Mem, so therefore, ein Chashash, Mamayla fragt what kind of business is this whole...
I also say that Vachnacht, Shabbos, you don't have to stay up, because the ain't Shlita Mazik.
Yeah. So that's the first question was asked. Shabbos Mitzah, that's mine. Then comes the Urcha Shilcha, and he asks the Menachem's question. I am Mazel Yisrael. let's assume Shabbos works. Shabbos weekdays. Is Klal Yisrael b'chal nish in Tamazulas. B'chal nish in Tamazulas. So Bazoi, the Goyim have Muslim Adam. Okay, they're doomed. We are not on the Mazulas. So why are we have to zechrechen event Muslim here, Muslim here? What's going on? It's basically the kasha is basically nicht of the kasha of the Gemara. The Gemara sucht schon, dass du Schnei, Malucham, Kapuram, Mazet, aber Kapuram, sei frage, geht die kasha. Or Shabbos in Ishuka Mazikim, Shlitz Mazulas, or Klal Yisrael in any case, is kind of into Shlitz Mazulas. And what is the reason that we make a whole deal about this? And the answer to this is like this. The Mungavruam has a whole, in Simarash Shamach Zayin, has a whole shmiz. We know Shabbos, we don't finish like Hashkevaini, like we finish during the week. Shomer es Amma Yisraeluat. Yeah, Shabbos, we don't finish Shomer es Amma Yisraeluat. We finish Apoy Rasik Sholem Aleini. Why? Why? Shabbos do not need Shmira. Why do we see Shomer es Amma Yisraeluat? That Rabboni Shloim is Shomer es Amma Yisraeluat. Shabbos is the Shabbos Alayna Shmira, and therefore we don't say it. The question begs, which by us is not a question, but by the whole world is a question. Why do we say Ishmoetz Asayne V'Yayni? We don't say. The Alter Rebbe took it out. But the whole world, even though they finishes the Frois Alayni, Apoeres Kishom Alayni, but they say Ashkemayni, the whole Ashkemayni, which it says Ishmoetz Asayne V'Yayni. So why do we say Ishmoetz Asayne V'Yayni? We have a problem. Shabbos is a line of Shmira, and we don't have to be mispal al Shmira. So the Mungavrum brings down a Zoyer, which the Zoyer says is a chilik tishna Rabim and Yochid. Klal Yisrael as a Rabim does not need Shmira. Therefore, when we say Shomer es Amma Yisrael Wad, we're talking about Klal Yisrael. Shomer es Amma Yisrael doesn't need a Shmira. Each individual, a person, although he's a Yid, although it's a Shabbos, each individual darf b'shmira. So is the Zohar. But Maila, according to this poiskim, we don't say Shomer es Am Yisrael, but we do say Ishmoetz Asayni. Ishmoetz Asayni V'Yayni talks on myself. On myself, I need a shmira. So therefore, we say Ishmoetz Asayni. We don't say. Der Alter Rebbe gehalten, als vielleicht Juchid auch nicht. Aber müssen wir sagen. Aber ich muss so sagen, warum. Ich habe getragen dafür, dieselbe Sache, wo der Alter Rebbe genommen. Ich kann nicht gehört, aber passt das.
He deviated from the Magen Avraham.
Yeah, of course.
I think the Alter Rebbe has bracha made a soup very bracha.
Yeah, but you could mitzadem. No, that's why he switched the frois. That's why he sits. He does it 4 times in Sidra, 4 or 5 times. I wrote once a ganze article of the Alter Rebbe Sidra of the Kid. As we said, brilliant. Alter Rebbe hat is a Pia Kabula, but brilliant ausgehalten a Pia Lucha in Sefer HaSidr, which we published when the Sidr became 200 years. But a ganze Mal of the Alter Rebbe, as my guy of the Sidr said 3 or 4 things. This is so brilliant. Halucha dik ze stimmen mit Kabula. That's why he abbreviated also from the Arizal sometimes, because he gewollt so sagen, ze stimmen mit das. Aber Kapunam, also ich suche der Magen Avraham, bringt op de Zohar. Lefi ze, we can answer the same question. What's the question? As Klal Yisrael as a whole, Masel is nicht gar Tach Schlitzes Mazulas, that's Klal Yisrael as a whole. Each individual is a besonders individual, is joined Schlitzes Mazulas. Oder andere willen suchen, andere willen suchen, as Sechilik zi Shomer Shabbos ki Heluchot. If a person is a real Shomer Shabbos, darf tak Shmore für Kamazikim und nicht für Kamazolas, because the Shabbos wacht ihm. Aber Tomer ein, beizim steht so in the Yavas. The Yavas is a Siddur, says this Chilik. If a person is a Shomer Shabbos ki Heluchot, with the ganze full of picture curve, then he doesn't have a problem with Mazikim, doesn't have Mazulas, because he's okay. But who could say that he is comfortable to say that he is a Shomer Shabbos takim with all the pitch of Kaz? Alter Rebbe says that Halacha Shabbos is karur matlim besara in every small thing. If Halacha Miktzah, Alter Rebbe brings out any small thing you could be Mechal Shabbos, and therefore you can't rely on it. So Abu Chazain, as a Menashe Klein, he brings down also this pshat, and it says, if anybody knows the Zmir Shabbos, which the Polish sing, which they sing, I don't know if they sing, what's in the Polish Machzoiram, Zmiras, there's a one thing, one of the Piyita which we sing is Ke'eshper Shabbos, Kal Nishmarayni. Yeah, but the Polish sing, man sagt es mal bei Shaloshins, I'm not sure. Ich vergessen, so viele Juden. Aber ich meine, aber it says, Ke'eshper Shabbos, Kal Nishmarayni. So he says, this is Mamash of there, look this Emden. A Yid was auch Shomer Shabbos, wie darf zu sagen, ist Ke'eshper Shabbos, Kal Nishmarayni. Der Reibisch dabei, heit mich up. Aber ich kann nicht sagen versichern, also ich bin 100% als Shomer Shabbos, ich bin nicht über auf Kashim, kleine Prat. But my wegen dem, therefore, darf man ja mehr auf in der Masulas, therefore, Yerome Kiddush, Masel Madam, and therefore, we do say, ich möchte es ein, because we still have, this is noch Abschad, was sie steht in der Poiskel.
That's only, it's the Kasha the Koidinam. But the Kasha the Rachashulcha is nicht for him.
Oh, is the Terzel durch Hashilchen is, as Rashi sucht auf ein Masel Yisroel, kiek dran Rashi, die Gemur sucht ein Masel Yisroel, dali dai Tfila is Chis Mishtana Masel Letoiva. Sucht Rashi, as wenn es Mishtana ein Masel Yisroel, jeden sind nicht in der Masulas, doesn't mean es nicht in der Masulas. Verkehrt, die Gemur sucht ist einer Gebäude geworden, damals, ist in nicht die Gemur sucht noch mehr, die Gemur sucht noch mehr, Rebbe Kiva, der Geuze begrüben hat ihm gesucht, in der gewähnen ganzen Weis, seht man kaum kann, ein Masel ist Ruhl, der Territz ist, a Yid hat a koich to go out of the Masel. Mit Tfilik, he can move on. A Goy is stuck with his Masel. He can go nicht stehen. So, bei Meile, there's a ein Masel ist Ruhl, answer is, ein Masel ist Ruhl, means you could go out of the Mazulas, but you're still under the Mazulas, and therefore, since you're still under the Mazulas, we don't want to be in a place where the Mazulas are not good. Therefore, we are makbet not to go into that territory because of course of the Mazal Hot HaKoyach.
So what about eating a Mazal Madam and the rest of the week?
Since the word, the Ike word is a oibich zug as to essen, oibich zug zu essen. The word is essen zman, wenn es die Gemur suchen Tanas, und als Mann bist du gerecht. Aber ob der Wort ist, als ich soll unheiben dem Shabbos, der unheiben der Shabbos, in als Mann, was ist teuf, ist es halt nicht kein Shabbos. Aber es ist nicht so pusht, als nur der Shabbos, weil dann sehen wir, es ist ein ganzer Schmiss im Wald Efschrunki, noch der Zeit, wo sitzt sich hier Motzi Shabbos, gefällt Yontef. Yontef falls Motzi Shabbos. Don't you read what? Motzi Shabbos falls Yontef. Du hast ganz schmiss in der Post and a lot of people hold that you should be makbet because Masel Madam is Motzi Shabbos, the third hour. So therefore, you could fall in if you make. You could fall in frat Mitternacht when you ate late. You could fall in this. So there's no sach poiskim is unclear that you should be makbet on. What? 10 o'clock at night. 10 o'clock at night. Motzi Shabbos. It could have shvias. In fact, special second night. The second night is why people eat.
So what it says not to eat.
Is du was sagen, als dem muss man makbet sein, nicht zu machen Kiddush dann. Ja. Andere sagen, es den darf kein Shabbos, es nicht den Yontef, es den darf kein Shabbos, weil aber tun wir schon
The
Vater.
Rebbe doesn't bring it.
Da Rebbe doesn't bring it. Is du was sagen, why darf kein Shabbos? Because it says the two Malachim begleiten nach heim. The Gemara says it's only by Shabbos. The Gemara doesn't say Yontef two Malachim begleiten you home. So aber so, it's nicht legal. Shabbos, when you have the two Malachim begleit you, then you have hast the team with the Masel Tzadkil, with the Malach Tzadkil, Masel Samach Mem, then you stay away. Motzi Shabbos, that's why most of the people, Rav Klal Yisrael, will not be makbet on these things.
On the other hand, the Yom Tov is probably Motzi Shabbos, and it's probably less problem to wait. You don't have the whole Sechreya that has to happen early.
Och Thomas,
Right, so
yeah, mean the Halucha Dik Chaylik. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Now, how do you calculate? How do you calculate the hours? Like he brought up in the first minute. How do you calculate the shurs? Yeah. So in the Maril, the Pashtas, I get Avar Faran. This is only very interesting. I think this is only Biyoimam Nisan V'Tishru, which are days are Shuva. So therefore, there must fault us all. The hours are hours of 60 minutes. Therefore, you have the issue. But if it's not summer or winter, that must because the hour could be an hour and 20 minutes, an hour could be 60 minutes, 50 minutes. So, as it's much for is a guy b'shu yeshuvas. But Lamasa, all the achroinim, the ungoif the Mugavru Maran macht a shekel kimi von der alte Rebbe, in der Rebbe hat a ganze Riechs auf deine Kide, der Rebbe in Shari Chaminik. That since it goes with the mazolas is not connected to the shu shuvas. The mazolas has nothing to do how big the yom is a lailo. The Maril says we gave 12 hours yom, 12 hours lailo, yeah? So therefore, when it's 12 hours yom, 12 hours lailo, on the Tishrin in Nisnis, which the day is 50-50. But when there is winter or summer is you have 14 hours yom. Winter you have 14 hours laila. That's why it changes the shuas manias. So Mamaila zogen de alle Achroine mit Rebbe schreibt dem sehr stark. Das hat kein Scheichs mit kann das hat zu mit den hour. The Mazul is of the hour, 60-minute hours. And therefore it goes only with the hours. So therefore it goes always the illusion of the Rebbe is this is what you write that you shouldn't make Kiddush to 6 or 7. It means 60 minutes, an hour of 60 minutes. The way how the mazulas are working is the same summer and winter. The mazulas doesn't change. It's the same thing. It has nothing to do with the sun or how big the Yom of Alaylu is, how far the sun and Levuna. So therefore, it's a smaller day, more longer day. It has to do with the hour. V'gam b'chatzoy zog der Rebbe ein chilik bei dem Mekoyim shebedurim bebetzufan. It's not a different way in chatzas bedurim betzufan. It's always 6 hours after chatzoys. That means always when you take my chatzoyses, and chatzoyes have to zog der Rebbe, that means 12 o'clock, because not necessarily chatzoyes is not always at 12 o'clock. You take b'mitzah, chatzoyes have to, that means 12 o'clock. 6 hours from that is the zman how you wait. So always, when we say we're going to the hours, it goes to hours, 60 minutes. So if 12 hours is chatzoyes, 12 o'clock is chatzoyes, 6 hours later is Muslim Adam. It's always 6 o'clock.
Minutes because of chatzos.
What?
So there is an influence of minutes because of chatzos.
No, but we go to chatzos tzui. The only influence which we do have is this is the chatzos. Yeah, but the only what we do have is when we should know when is chatzos on the clock, because our clock is. It goes. The whole system is entitled with with what latitude. Now, from one to the other latitude doesn't change, but the point changes because you move. It is only askuma that basically according to Townsend is weggestellt is that means this 35. Let's say 35 is going to be 12 and until the next one is also going to be 12, yeah? It's going to also be 12. Yeah, from 35 to 36, the latitude is going to be 12. But Be'etzam is lavdafka. So you have to look every place, where is his real chatzos. Now when it's Yisrael...
When Nisan and Tishrei, when it's chatzos, that's chatzos the whole year.
The what?
When Nisan and Tishrei...
No, I'm not talking about chatzos the whole year. I'm talking about how our clock is. I'm not talking about chatzos. Chatzos is always 12. No, what is 12?
No, that's what I'm saying. So how do you decide which position in your 12 is when?
You have to know where how
when it's chatzos and when the day is a full day. When it's a equinox. When that's when is your chatzos the whole year round.
Okay.
When it's your equinox.
He's saying, in Kufas Nissen,
yeah.
in Kufas Nissen, in Kingston, you look in the Zman, and it says chatzos is 12:03.
Yeah.
So that means that the whole year chatzos is 12:03.
Ja, aber ich will nicht die Sachen. Ich will eine zweite Sache. Our clock, when by our clock is 9 o'clock at night. Is it 9 o'clock at night by Emmas or not? Das will ich so. Or it's basically 9:05 by Emmas or 9 or 8:55 or 8:56 or 8:57. No, then once it's weggestellt is the whole thing from what the whole times it should be equal.
It can be up to 30 minutes.
Yeah, by us, by ins do in New York, our 12 o'clock by Emma's is 11:56. It's 4 minutes gericht. In Zemmer, according to our clock, in Zemmer Nicht in Kingston, ganz New York, weiß ich du. New York is it 11:56 is basically based on 12. Now was then according to the Skumas in Etzrul, ich gehe mal mush Etzrul, is 11:40 is Chatzois. 11:40 is Chatzois. Nicht Chatzois, is beitz the 12.
Chatzois am Zeug.
Ja, so kimt aus beitz wat man gedacht in Etzrul Khoishan from 5:40 till 6:40. Verstehst? Weil du der Emmes die 60 minutes. Bei uns, was gedacht sein von 11:56 bis from 5:56 till 6:66. Also gedacht es an. Der Rebbe sucht dort aber la Masse ist, weißt du, nicht sie, ja, der ganze Geschmack, mach it flat, from 6 till 7. Aber bei Eitzam, und ich weiß nicht, ich denke, wenn ich gewohnt nicht das Roll, ist gewesen mit Tuviebloi, mit anderen, was Tage, so haben wir gewesen, from 5:40 till 7. Weil 5:40 bis 6:40 dus der Emmes. Aber 6 bis 7 ist, weil der Rebbe sucht, man soll nicht machen, geschworenes, ist es gegangen so. Das same bei uns, ist also von 5:56, wo gedacht sind bei 18 bis 66.
What is by Kingston?
Kann ich
Daylight
go here.
savings time is for sure. You have to
Yeah, for sure. Because you have to go according. So it's from 7 till 8. It's then from 7 till 8 for sure. Just because what machen gewesen is called 6 doesn't mean 6. The same is also the same is as machen gewesen as 11:56. We're gonna call 12.
Okay, what's the end of all that saying? He says that you're
No.
supposed to wait and not make, but then it says, right, yes, when it me out of very basic necessary, and yet I come home at 6:10. It's better for me to make Kiddush or better for me to wait? Dus is tool in die Kiddush.
According to the Mungavrum Pashtas, Zug the Mungavrum make before, and ob das nicht gemacht, mach Pashtas kann man sagen, mach Kiddush 6. So no was then, you're going into a problem, you're going into making Kiddush in a schlechtes Mann. But mit Zadallucha, ja. Ist du was auch mal so. Ist du was auch mal so, in der Mungavrum, aber gibt das in der Mungavrum, in der Altrebe, kann man noch das so sagen. Der Altrebe sagt, weißt du, Elitchili ist kein Schmerz bei mir bei Jom. So sagen wir, der Altrebe sagt das so. Elitchili, oi la acher shu toi chalaylo. Nein, der Altrebe sagt zwei Sachen. Der Altrebe sagt man das nicht. Der Altrebe says like this, you should do or an hour before or an hour after. Avoid Muslim Adam, 6 till 7. Sagt aber der Rebbe, aber Altrebe, what you should do, don't wait till after, like Zwicker said, don't wait till after. If you have two options. You have the options to make Kiddush before 6 or after 7, do it before 6. Do it before 6. Aber wenn es gibt im Muslim Adam, wo soll sein, kannst du der Alter sagen, no, don't do it. Im Mungavrum ist ja, kickt öfter aus so, als bei Eizen, was man kann sagen, als es ist, look noch einmal die Werte. Yeah, that means you shouldn't go, it goes to him to free. Yes, nizurim shlole kadesh beshur shoyne shel alayla. Deine shu shvies ach tzos hayoym. Ele oy koy de malayla, oy la acher shu toch alayla. The fish beshur shoyne mazam adam. When is bar, what you have two options, what you do. Is bar, the kitkhili should go by yom. Aber das meint nicht, dass ich vielleicht schon mit Kindern in das. Ich frage dich in der Mungavrum, ist du, sie will ja so heranlehnen. Also Mungavrum, bringt nur die erste Sache, will sagen, mach for them, and if you didn't make it, okay, you'll make Kiddush in not a good time.
How strict is this?
Oh, it's steht schon in der Achroinam, as whenever you have guest, goes in the Shur, die Sache, have this rule before. And here, so we have kids, and it's impossible also. In andere Wetter, so, sof, es ist auch eine Sache, der Alter bringt es herup, in der Alter sagt allein, yes, nizurim. Listen to his lotion. Yes, nizurim shloile kadosh. Steht nicht, yes, am soll nicht so sein. Es ist ein Lotion, wo es sich mastai. Yes, nizurim. So whenever you have guests, there's no question, you make Kiddush. Except if they're comfortable to schmooze around.
Or if you're very tired left.
Or
If you're very
we're
tired
tov
left.
yech. They hat nicht kashimakar. Let me make it clear. I know the gas sucht das Sache, if not make it the right mind. They hat nicht kashimakar, hat nicht kein Kaffee. Steht nirgends nicht. Ich habe ihm Gesicht, I would say, if not weeks, maybe years. because I had in the years ago. Ein makar lazeh. Who's yod one makar? Who's yod makar? Do tzadikim, but they used to say, for instance, nittel. Yeah, most chassidim are makbet on it. Let me just make it clear. Most chassidim are makbet that you shouldn't make kiddush. There are some who don't, but most chassidim are makbet not to make kiddush. But when it falls Surah B'Tayvus on Friday, there were rebbes which they make kiddush right away because there's a fast. In Zay Shram, what is the Eitzah? There is when we say after Ba'atzu Sefer Torah, we say Overach Miyarach Miskim V'Yatzl Nafshesayni Menashuas Heruas. And they said you should say this. Say this Overachman. And we say before kiddush you should say V'Yatzl Nafshesayni Menashuas Heruas, and then you can make kiddush. So let me just sum it up. Lekitchila, if you could make kiddush before 6, this is the best. When it comes to 6, if you're makbet, if you don't have children, if you don't have guests, if you're not too of lechel, if you're single, then wait afterwards.
Making before 6.
I don't think in my life, except maybe sort of times that happened, it didn't happen. Even this Friday night, which I came home 5:15 from shul because I was under the weather. I went down and closed next to my house, 5:15, and my wife asked me, "Do you want to make kiddush?" I says, "No, I need the next 2-3 hours for myself. This is the hours which is this is sarugitza, the kaslena, and if you." So that's why I'm fighting so much that you shouldn't do this. I don't make kiddush before 8:00, whatever. But again, let me just say a minute. So it's a zoy. Like tchila before 6.
Right. So I come home 5:58. Make kiddush and then I do shalom aleichem afterwards.
Yeah. Make kiddush right away. Yeah, shalom aleichem. Yeah, say it afterwards. Staracha. If you couldn't do it, if you want to wait till afterwards. If you have children, you have guests, that's something else. And if you need to make taka in Jesus 6-7, say Avarachman. At least chachik azoyfel yatram nashuz aruas. The Rebbe brings down. It's interesting. The Rebbe brings down in a letter. They write somebody wrote to the Rebbe that in Etzisrul mishmakpet of them. So the Rebbe writes, I don't know why. Why is Etzisrul amnasher mechtunam vidus? If there is such a minig, and if the minig is a makibelig minig, so the Rebbe could be. So the Rebbe was the Lushi from the Rebbe. Could be. You're right. Why isn't it? In a Sumin Akbet because I shlit le mazulas and Etzisrul. So the Rebbe, I don't go for this answer. That's not. Or the poskim should have said such a thing. He says if it has some. And the Rebbe took noch mehr. What do you mean? I'm mazul in Etzisrul is no shame mazulas. The Gemara says of Rabbi Kiva, the story of Rabbi Kiva. Yeah, in one Shabbos that the guy told him and he got all the ways. Where was Rabbi Kiva? Not in Etzisrul. Also in Etzisrul. Yeah. And the Shiba Levi is in Etzisrul. The Gemara says not in the Mass with the Shiba Levi. So you see all of them. Why? Etzisrul, I'm Mass Etzisrul. You don't have to be afraid. The Rebbe says, "As in Shlomo Zamazach, v'doiche gloimer." Wo sagt der Rebbe ja? In der Rebbe fragt das up. Versteht nicht was. Hat kein anderes. La Masse habe ich gekickt ein bisschen in der Sfura, aber gesehen, dass der Regional Rebbes steht ja so. Also Etzisrul, viele so machen gewesen, when they were in Vienna, when they were in Russia, when they were in Hamas Makmen, aber La Masse, wenn Zaim nicht machen gewesen Etzisrul, Zaim nicht machen gewesen Etzisrul. Aber La Masse, all other Gdeli so Vishnitz in Mechasitzchak mit Moshe Freund in all the other Rebbes, was gewesen Etzisrul alle machen gewesen. So Beklal is Etzisrul makbet. Aber sie gehen as aming nicht makbet.
And Litvische are not the Mazolis are not playing on the Litvische, only in the Chassidim.
No, only in the Chassidim. It's not
They're not makbet.
They're nicht makbet. Nein, the Litvische nicht makbet. It's in. I mentioned before one cute thing because I want to go back. Menachem before brought up regarding Matiyantov. So I said, as most of the poskim say, there's no such a thing. Mati Yontov, but again, the Mishnah Yankov, he says Mati Yontov. In Mati Shabbos, Yontov for Mati Shabbos, you should be makbet because you should make at 10 o'clock because then Mazal. So Zug the V'Yagid Moshe is the famous V'Yagid Moshe on Pesach. He says, if you want to accept this, that you should, even Yontov you should be makbet, but one thing for sure, Pesach you shouldn't be makbet. Because Leil Shemurim, and therefore, that's for sure. Pesach, das ist so schön nicht gemacht. Und bringt eine gewaltige Sache. Und sagt, why did the Rebbeinu Shalom make macht, als soll sein, der Makke, ich gewinne Masel Madem. Der Makke auf Mitzrayim, bevor sie gewinne Masel Madem. Sie gewinne Donnerstag, man macht der Cheshben. Sie gewinne Donnerstag Nacht. Damals sie gewinne Masel Madem, weil der Eibischter hat gewollt zugen, sie ist am Masel Madem, es ist ein schlechtes Mann, in Afapinje Leil Shemirem, ich will also wissen, also das ist kein Schlitter. So, even if you want to be a makbet Matziyontov, that's for sure. When it comes to Pesach, you shouldn't be a makbet.